This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jeff Powell of the Daily Mail, the only UK sports writer who's been able to get out here. Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine after a complicated, protracted, but I'm sure worthwhile journey.
Hopefully it will be worthwhile. Obviously I say that because there's been a lot of talk about the fight and of course around the ring and whether or not Billy Joe's happy with it. Just your thoughts on what's come out over the last day or so?
Well, it's Billy Joe is an unpredictable person. He likes to play some mind games with his opponents as well. Maybe it all plays into that, but he has been upset with a few things here. Canelo being more heavily over-promoted than he imagined. That he signed his contract without knowing there were going to be spectators, so he says. So there's been other arguments raging. I find it hard to believe that he will walk away from the fight he's been chasing all his life, and the biggest purse he's ever had, and the biggest fight which will define his career, no matter what the size of the ring is. But of course it's his elusiveness which is his main card in this fight, and if it's a small ring, he's not going to be so hard for Canelo to cut it off and get to him. So I understand that, but surely that should have been sorted before this. Surely it should have been in the contract. And then to throw a wobbly at this stage is entertaining for everybody, and hopefully not permanent.
I mean, moving forwards with this kind of situation, Jeff, what do you see as being not just the solution, but how do you expect it to play out over at least the next day or so?
Well, I think Canelo looks completely unperturbed. If the fight was off, the fight would be off. What Billy will have to think about is that not only would he lose his purse, but you could expect legal action for the costs and compensations for Canelo and all his team and Matchroom and all the people who are involved at the stadium. He'd be looking at a bill which would probably bankrupt him.
I mean, Jeff, moving forwards, and let's say if the fight hopefully does go ahead on Saturday night, what are your thoughts on it as it's built closer? We're only a matter of days away now from seeing the pair of them hopefully in the ring.
I agree that Billy Joe has the kind of skills which can set problems for Canelo, but set problems for Canelo only in terms of how quickly he can get to him. My concern is if he dances, if he tries to stay away the whole fight, I think he'd get caught in the end at whatever point. I mean, Amir Khan boxed beautifully against him for 6 rounds, but he caught him. Canelo's got power. It's increased as he's come into his prime. Billy Joe is not noticeably a big hitter, and what really concerns me for him is that on the times when Canelo does get in close and go to work on him, I'm not sure he has the punching power to hold him off. I think that's going to be his problem towards the end of the fight.
Jeff, there's obviously been a few things which Billy hasn't been happy about in the build-up to this, one being the ring now. Previously he wasn't aware of fans being in attendance, now in over 70,000. There's a few other things which just kind of slip in my mind at this moment in time, but with everything that's gone on, the UK judge as well not being in attendance, that's been changed now of course, but that was an issue as well. But with all of that's gone on, do you expect that will play on Billy's mind and mentally it could affect him if the fight does go ahead on Saturday?
It's not so much whether it will play on his mind. There's clearly adrenaline running there, and there's nerves. What concerns me is whether or not he's so perturbed about the quality of the opponent that his nerve is going. I hope he's just playing mind games. He's not normally nervous, he's normally confident, but this is a huge stage, a huge fight against the best boxer in the world, and the closer it gets to the fight, the more that's going to play on his mind than all this nonsense.
Jeff, just one fight I want to touch on, which isn't on this card, but it's been spoken about for a long time now. AJ Fury, a lot of talk as to whether or not that happens this year. What are your thoughts? Do you think that does happen this year?
Well, like everybody, I certainly hope so. I'd like to see it over the line and done and dusted, because the longer it drags on, the more the doubts creep in. I'd say it's not quite certain yet, and you're looking at Ramadan in Saudi Arabia. You're looking at a willingness to get it done at their end. Who knows? It's taken a lot longer than it should have done. but I'm still hopeful that it will take place this year, but maybe not as early as Eddie would like. It might move back into the early autumn.
What's been your thoughts on the whole Deontay Wilder situation, with regards to his arbitration in court?
I think he has a case to argue. I think if it goes against Tyson, and after all the delays, he would be justified, if he felt like it, in going off to do the trilogy fight with Deontay.
Well, Jeff, we'll leave that there now, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Absolute pleasure as always.